Welcome to season 2 of On the Spot. At On the Spot, we discuss the issues.
The world today is driven by extreme capitalism that sees many African countries at the losing end, as they are either exploited for its raw materials or do not get the true value for its goods or services. And Sierra Leone is no exception. Well, a major international soft drink brand is trying to change this narrative and taking on the likes of some other brands that we all know. Of course, the soda brand with its fair trade and organic drink called Kola, made from kola nuts sourced from Sierra Leone. Well, in this week's episode of On the Spot from our special in the UK, Simon Coley, who is the co-founder of Kola, and Albert Tucker, the chairman of the Kola Foundation, joins me here on the spot to talk a little bit more about this company. Hello, Simon.
Hi, Stella.
Hello, Albert.
Hello, Stella.
Thank you for joining me here on the spot.
Pleasure.
So my first question, as you know, will be going out to you, Simon. Kola, how did this, I would say, amazing company, how did it all come about?
Well, it originally started back in New Zealand, where I'm from, with me and a couple of friends thinking about what we do with our careers.
Okay.
Chris, my business partner, had a drinks company that was a pioneer in making organic drinks, and his brother Matthew worked in the Treasury in New Zealand, and we all were at that stage where we thought we should probably do something more constructive than the work we were doing. Chris had sold his company, I was between jobs, and Matt was thinking about moving out of the government sector. We thought we'd want to create a business that would do good, that would be beneficial to all the people in our supply chain. We have these ideas about being good corporate citizens, being able to protect the environment that product we were going to produce came from. Chris's organic experience really informed that. I was interested in telling these stories about where producers could benefit from consumers and making that connection between, like with fair trade, people who grow things, often in tropical climates, who are in less fortunate positions, perhaps, like we were importing organic bananas from Ecuador, from small family farms that have been historically exploited by larger banana companies. And that made us think we could do the same in soft drinks, that we could find the ingredients we needed, and that we could create a really constructive relationship between consumers in the West and producers in the East. So we were sort of researching the idea, and this idea of a virtuous circle between producers and consumers really described karma. And we thought, well, I wonder, we were working with people in the islands in the South Pacific, in Samoa. We were thinking that we would create a karma banana because there's great organic, fresh, tropical produce from there. We were thinking we could do karma cocoa and coffee and other alliteration, like karma coconuts. And then I thought, well, Karma Kola sounds quite good.
Okay.
I wonder where we can get cola from. And we were really lucky in that we'd been talking with a woman called Harriet Lamb, who was then the head of Fair Trade International. And she'd come to New Zealand to help us with another project. And she introduced us to Albert, who was at the time in Freetown.
Okay.
And we talked to Albert via the magic of the internet, didn't we? I think we were texting and calling, and it was still the same way we communicate with the people in the villages we work with in Sierra Leone, is basically through text messaging.
Okay.
But we figured out that it would be possible to find coal. Obviously, there's a lot of it in the Kola rainforest where we get it from today, but that we would need to work with a community that could really benefit from the transaction, that were kind of organized enough to do that had the infrastructure to make it work. And that led us to Albert, which in turn led us to the Barry chieftain and a village called Boma, and a chief called Kadi Bo, who was the chief of Boma village.
Well,
She's a phenomenal person.
Of course, we're going to definitely show the videos
Yeah,
because
okay,
we know
yeah.
the
Right,
videos.
right, yeah.
You took a trip to Sierra Leone, and you also took some of your partners.
Yeah.
And they made amazing burgers, and it's quite unique. You don't see that every time. But be it international or even local companies. So I'm going to throw this question over to you, Albert. Now, Kola, of course, is named as one of the world's most ethical company by the Ethical Institute for 2 years in a row. And of course, named as well the world's fairest trader by Fair Trade International. Fair trade is clearly at the heart of Kola. And Sierra Leone seems to be benefiting from this. How is it working out for Sierra Leone? How do Kola come in to support the communities that they are sourcing the products from?
Yeah, so Stella, I grew up in Sierra Leone. I left Sierra Leone when I was 14 to come and live here, and after the war, many of us tried to do different things to support the country to redevelop. And I had been working in fair trade over many years in coffee, cocoa. I was part of developing a chocolate company called Divine, promoting Ghanaian cocoa, also coffee in East Africa and Latin America as a way of communities to develop themselves. And I've always been interested in how trade can help people develop so they're independent. They're not just dependent on charity. So I see trade as an important tool. That's what happened in the UK. Trade was the way the people in the Midlands and in the North really got themselves developed. So when always promoting, of course, fair trade, and we say trade in a more ethical and fair way, not just fair trade per se. And so when we Sierra Leoneans, we never leave Sierra Leone behind in many ways. So when the colleagues here said they were interested in sourcing kola nuts, we realized a number of things. So one is we realized all the companies of the 1.6 billion, nearly 2 billion colas that are drunk every day, none of them use the natural ingredients anymore. And then when we try to source the cola, because you don't use a lot of it, it's only a flavoring, we realized it had very little value in the world market. This thing that made one of the most famous drinks in the world, the most valuable drink in the world almost, the producers of cola nut in West Africa don't benefit. So that became a big thing for us to highlight. And of course, when we then worked with the communities who are now working together, there are 8 villages around the Tiwa Island who are protecting the island, who we sourced from, and we then talked about how could we support them. And instead of going into label fair trade, we already had fair trade sugar from India, fair trade spices from Sri Lanka. We thought, well, actually the cola nuts, we're not going to buy so much that people will make money out of it. So we decided to create a foundation. We didn't start off thinking we'd create a foundation. We decided to create a foundation, and we would tell consumers that, look, we're asking you to pay up to 2p more than we would normally ask, so that we can support these communities to help themselves. And we came up with some basic criteria: sustainable agriculture, linked to fair trade. We learned from fair trade, sustainable agriculture, education, particularly for girls, and health and education, particularly for girls, and also infrastructure. So we and then working closely with those communities, we meet with the communities every year and plan together what they want us to do. So interestingly, one of the key questions that came up was, the first thing they wanted us to do was build a bridge because the main village, Boma, flooded. But they also wanted us to send girls to school, create a bursary that would send girls to school that they would manage. So the community manages all of these projects. And I was saying, well, why aren't you sending girls to school? And they said, well, look, like everywhere else. Chief Caddy was the one who sat me down and said, look, like everywhere else, some people can only afford to send some of their children to school. And when that happens, they send the boys, not the girls. And we're saying to you, if you guys help create a bursary, we'll make sure girls go to school. And of course, who can argue with that? Coming from a mother and a leader in the village. So we started working very closely with the community as a way of creating this karma. And then what we found was that people here were then interested. So the guys from Honest Burgers, one of our partners, so a lot of restaurants that value high quality ingredients, premium quality, they love our drinks because it's all natural, organic, fair trade, they taste good. So those really good food outlets, people who care about ingredients, and now looking, we didn't know such good ingredients comes from Sierra Leone. And then we found with the forest communities, they have a lot of other things available, like bush pepper and things like that. So we started promoting Sierra Leone as a source, and Sierra Leone ingredients. So that's why the chefs were very interested to come. And we said, well, you can't just come. You have to do something for the communities. We're not just going to watch people. And so they came and they said, well, all we do is we cook. So we said, cook for the community, which is what they did. But they also run promotions where they contribute to the foundation, and others are interested in doing that. So what we created really was a relationship. That's what we felt was at the heart of Karma and Fair Trade, a relationship with the people who supply us and the relationship with the people who buy. So one of the British High Commissioners, when we took our product to show him in Freetown to say, look, we're doing this, he said, do you know, this is the only product you can find, premium product you can find in a supermarket or in a shop in the UK. You can buy in the UK with Sierra Leone at the back of it as a source of ingredients. So what we've been doing is really promoting the communities we work with in the first instance, and Sierra Leone as a source. And with part of my time as well, I'm working with cocoa, promoting cocoa from Sierra Leone with others, not through Kola, but we are very keen on promoting Sierra Leone because we've found the relationships with the people of Sierra Leone, and these are not communities we knew before, but we feel a kind of a responsibility with those communities to support them to develop. We funded 23 entrepreneurs across those 8 villages.
We're going to come down a little bit to some of the work.
But so our drinks in total, we pay a little bit over the odds for fair trade, so that all the people in India and Sri Lanka who source from us get a reasonable income from the business they do with us. The Kola nuts from the foundation, we help the community there develop themselves because the price alone wouldn't do. So all these relationships for us is what we think gives us karma.
Good karma.
Yes.
Well, of course, this is On the Spot. We will still talk a little bit more about Kola and the work that is going on the ground in Sierra Leone. If you are just tuning in, this is a special On the Spot in UK series. And I have here with me the co-founder of Kola and the chairman for Kola Foundation. That's a soda drink where the ingredient is sourced in Sierra Leone. An amazing part is that a fraction of the proceeds go back to the communities in which those ingredients are being sourced. We'll take a break. We'll be back, but stay tuned.
It's a whole lot more than just being able to offer dollars. If you can create a kind of sense of ownership and partnership and a future, something you can do together, it's so powerful.
Welcome back. I am at Arboretum here in the heart of London, and it is On the Spot. If you're just joining, well, as they often say, better late than never. So still with me is Simon Coley and Albert Tucker from Kola. And as you can see, I'm sure we'll be tasting this in a bit. So, of course, you've just watched that video there that tells you a little bit about the story of Kola. And the video as well also highlighted some of the projects that you people have done in Sierra Leone. Building the bridge and supporting, getting girls back into school. And then there's the other projects with Tiwa Island regarding the monkeys. For Kola, how do you identify? I know you did mention that the communities do suggest where they need help or where they need support in. But at any given point in time, do the Kola come on board to say, okay, we will support in XYZ, and also monitor how how the money's been disbursed, how it's been utilised.
It was a real challenge for us when we started, because we had this idea that we would support producers, and specifically a group of villagers that were able to source cola nut for us. We haven't been an NGO before. You know, my experience was in making these packages look good and tell a story. My partner's experience was in producing great organic drinks. But we did know that we needed to have a very close relationship with those people, because we couldn't call ourselves good karma, unless we could prove that. So when we sent the first check for the first year's worth of sales, we put 5 cents aside in New Zealand, because we started there. We were selling drinks in New Zealand for a year or so before we came here. We put it in a fund, and we sent a check over for about $10,000 US, I think.
Which for Sierra Leone is huge.
Well, it was big, and we were going, well, we understood that context. We sent it to Dr. Hans-Peter Müller, who was working at Welthunger Health, and we had an idea that we should just be careful about how we do this. We should say the principles behind this are that the money has to be spent on the entire community. We can't allocate it to a single person. Somehow we needed a structure that would allow it to be invested in not charity or aid, but in supporting trade. The second principle was that we didn't want to be seen as someone that these people would depend on beyond a good commercial relationship. Like you talk about the sort of rampant rise of extreme capitalism. We wanted ownership at both ends of our supply chain. So we want to be able to create good lives, well-being, that enabled the people we were working with to continue to give us the things we needed from them. So that we wanted to be able to support projects that would create future employment or, you know, income for the villagers. And we also understood that we have no idea what's good for people in this place. You know, I grew up, and Albert does, but, you know, I'm from the other side of the world. I haven't lived in a rainforest before. I've no idea what would be great. But we had some simple thoughts around, if to be able to live well and trade with us, health's great, education's really important, especially young women, because we know that has incredibly positive benefit on the development of these communities. And the chief Kari Bo that we work with is a leading example of that. And that food security is pretty important, because there's been breakdowns in that. So anything that could contribute to improving the situation in those areas we thought would be great, but we wouldn't make those decisions. One of the things that Albert looked for when we were initially trying to find places to trade with was an existing structure to work with. And there was a committee of people across these villages who were already there that we could work with. So those committee members basically represent all of probably a couple of thousand people, and they meet regularly, and people come to them with ideas, and they go through them and go, well, this is the first thing we heard about, was that the group wanted to reconstruct a bridge that would be flooded or broken down every rainy season. So to have that permanent access to the village made a big difference to their lives. It meant that the PC could get there. A whole lot of things started changing when that happened. It wasn't our idea, but we willingly supported it because it came from all of the community. So, you know, if we continue to work that way with a close but not overly influential relationship, so that we're not forcing people to make decisions that they don't want, then it works pretty well.
But there was two other things. One is we really wanted the whatever small amounts we had available to really reach the community, and for them to actually do things that benefited them. We see many times where people do what the money brings, but it's not really what they would do if it was their money. We also explained to them very clearly that we're asking consumers to contribute towards this, and we explain that's why we film them, that's why we talk to them, that's why we interview them. It's not because of any other reason, so that we can show consumers that they're really doing this. So some of the work we do with the community is also train them to manage this stuff, so that we do leadership and governance training with them.
Really?
Yes, because for me as a Sierra Leonean, it's also quite important to show that our communities can manage themselves, which they do generally on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So it's actually supporting that is quite important to us as well. So we're very transparent about what's available. So when they're planning with us, they know what's available in any given year, budget-wise. We have Michael Salou, who works for us on the ground. He's from a consultancy called AFA, who monitors and manages the actual day-to-day programs for us. He's in the communities every week. With Mediwa, the chairman of that committee. So they're structured. One of the things I felt vaguely worried about is we're working with these communities and they're creating committees. Yeah. But actually these are elected committees which all the community knows are accountable for this stuff. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we contribute a little bit to better governance as well as whatever small things we're offering. So even if, tomorrow we can't do as much, they can do a lot more for them, for their communities. Wonderful. As well.
That's a great business model, I think. And it's been working for
Well, the thing is, it's not, although that sounds like a lot of money, in the context of foreign aid, it's a very small amount. And we think that enabling people to use it well is probably the role we play. Like we're not an enormous company, so we need to show that everything we put into this has really good benefit, because a big part of us being able to sell the product is being able to tell that story that you've seen. So there's a kind of, it's like we're kind of paying for the intellectual property of the people that we're working with, and we kind of want to make sure that we keep that fluid and that we keep looking for ways of doing this better, because everyone's engaged in it, including our customers.
And also those communities are trying to conserve that forest, which is a small part of what was a very large forest area.
Yeah, that was mentioned in the video.
So that conservation effort benefits all of us. Right. So we think they should be able to also generate income from actually protecting the forest as well. So we who consume should also try and fund that and support them to do that. And I think it's quite important.
Wonderful. Well, we'll take a break, of course. So coming up next is the video of the week. Enjoy.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abu. I am calling for your rental tax payment.
Oh my goodness.
Hello? This is a call from the...
Your colleague is on the other line. Can you just please hold?
You're not a landlord or property agent. You don't hear about rental income tax. As property owner or agent where they collect rent, the law say you for pay tax and are you tax identification number where they call team you they use for pay them.
Yes, me fumble them. The law say without this tax identification number, you not go able to pay your tax. And if you not pay your tax, the law go bet you tranga one. Welcome, sir. Please sit.
Thank you.
We don't make them easy for you now. The law say, since you the collect rent we pass 7.2 million loans, you for come to NIA and pay your rental tax just after we your tenants don't pay you down.
So no more calls from everywhere, eh?
You go just get one SMS or one phone call. We go remind you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For no more, go to any NIA office near you or visit www.nia.gov.sl.
Remember, paying taxes is required by law.
Welcome back. That was the video of the week, and of course it's Kola. So I guess you know my next question, and I'm going to throw this question to you, Simon.
Okay.
Sierra Leone is not on the list of the 18 countries. When is Sierra Leone next?
That's something we're working on. We've already sent stock over there for some special events, and we hope that it will be released soon, be available for people. But one of the biggest issues we have with that is the cost of buying it there. So we're working with a few restaurateurs and people in Freetown, and although it's early days, we hope to be able to have some drinks available that could go through these places. We won't declare who they are yet, because that's a bit of a secret, but you know, it's something we are definitely looking at doing.
We're also, of course, like all good businesses, trying to build small. So we're looking at food and drink, and we're looking at partners on the ground who are in those sectors. Some of our partners over here are very interested in Sierra Leone ingredients, and also the whole idea of training people to do what they do here over there, look at fusing Sierra Leone ingredients and cuisine with what they're doing. So we've got some interesting ideas to explore. Wonderful. But we can't promise you exactly what, and we're working with some of our the folks on the ground who work on this area as well.
You know, that was actually going to be my next question in terms of I know that, I mean, of course we can see that there are various different flavors. So I was just going to ask, like, when do we expect more flavors that will see more Sierra Leonean ingredients?
Well, we're promoting Sierra Leone ingredients, and we're growing. As Kola grows, we've got to grow the company commercially wisely and strengthen it, and we will be growing. So we'll be looking at ingredients. But as I said, we have a Michelin-starred chef who is very interested. And again, like Simon says, I won't name names, but who is one of the places who really promote our drinks. They're very interested in Sierra Leone ingredients. They use the bush pepper from Sierra Leone, and so we're also looking at promoting Sierra Leone ingredients more generally. And the whole thing about food, the government and particularly people in Freetown have told us about the whole idea of nutrition. How do we use our ingredients more so that these non-communicable diseases that are growing in the country at the moment, we can still have the lovely food and ingredients in Sierra Leone, but actually do it a bit more healthily. So we're working with colleagues on the ground in Sierra Leone to think about, and partners. You know, Simon mentioned WHH, the German NGO who we work with. We've got some business people in Sierra Leone who are trying to see if there's things we can contribute to, but always we have to balance the commercial and the development areas that we want to work with. But it's very much on the agenda, and I'm still thinking we should have this in West Africa as a whole, but emerging from Sierra Leone.
One of the positive things about being able to do this work is seeing all the other high quality ingredient, like cacao. You know, chocolate from Sierra Leone is now available, and it's great. Chilies. What else are we seeing?
The chili, the bush pepper. I'm very interested in Dani, which is a very sweet, natural sweet plant. But I don't know much about it, to my shame. But the villagers introduced me to it the other day, and we want to look at that. We've got other people interested in other uses of kola nuts. So while still trying to build our own business, but we also want to really try and promote those ingredients, so that they're used in a quality way and premium way. We've got some great ingredients from Sierra Leone. High quality ingredients, but we often Sierra Leoneans themselves don't recognize this, and we're not communicating it out to people like, look, there's quality here. We've done that a bit with cocoa, we've done that with Kola, we're doing that with the bush pepper and things like that. So hopefully more will come. Watch this space.
Definitely. So as we round up, I'm going to round up with you, Simon. Kola decision to source the main ingredient Kola from Sierra Leone. As we round up, would you say it was a good decision, and you're happy with Sierra Leone?
From a personal level, I would never have been able to go and meet some of the people we work with in Sierra Leone. So, I've selfishly had a great time because of this. But also I can see that it's a good example. I mean, like I say, it's not going to solve a lot of big problems, but it's a good example of how we can work with people to have these more caring capitalist models. And symbolically, I think we're in a good place to show that it's possible. We just need to get more people interested in spending a little bit more on products that actually make a difference.
And also in the same spirit, promoting Sierra Leone culture and ingredients as well. So we didn't do this at the beginning, but we have to split Kola. We've been telling everybody about splitting Kola, so
yes,
split Kola with you.
Thank you.
And
there's the saying.
He who brings Kola brings life. Although the
Brings
villagers
life.
tell us, "See who brings Kola
Brings peace.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
Yes,
That
this
too.
is the first color broken on the spot. Thank you so much. And this is to you all out there watching. And amazing thing is that people can actually buy Cola online. So all they need to do, we're going to put all the details anyway in,
absolutely.
but you'll find all the details. So people can buy online. It's been sold at UK is one of the biggest market, and it's been sold. Can you mention a few of the stores where people can grab them?
You can get it from Waitrose, Planet Organic, Whole Foods. Some of our favourite restaurant brands like Honest Burgers, who've been to Sierra Leone with us, Oaxaca,
Sainsbury's.
Tortilla, Caravan, group of any good cafe or restaurant should have it.
Should have it.
And more recently, the Whole Foods market, and where else are we?
Well, Sainsbury's, we're
Sainsbury's.
in, but also online we're with Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
And Amazon as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So that
Ricardo,
even makes it
sure,
easy. A
Ricardo.
lot of people in Sierra Leone order from Amazon. So yeah, if you're watching, head on to Amazon if you're in Sierra Leone, and order this. Remember, you are supporting the communities that this raw material.
Absolutely.
This is officially
We're
the first
there,
time
there.
I'm actually eating cola nuts.
Yeah.
First time.
And also, we also acknowledge Sierra Leone's contribution to our product. So, as the ambassador said, Sierra Leone is here and it's in the can, so people can see the contribution.
So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Stella.
And thank you, Simon. Thank you for coming to Sierra Leone. Thank you for showing, corporate institutions that yes, they can actually be profitable. They can actually grow as a business if they give back to the community and if they are genuinely interested in the communities that they work in. So we need more of such institutions, more of such businesses in Sierra Leone. So we wish you all the best. I'm very happy. I'm going to be having my first Cola as a matter of fact. So I'm going to be doing something. So you can go on to On the Spot with Stella Facebook page. I would be getting they come in how many?
We'll give you some to take.
Well, yeah, so how many?
So at the moment you can buy a tray of 2 dozen of these.
2 dozen. Okay.
On Amazon, but in a month we will release 4 packs.
4 packs.
Which are much easier to buy. There's less of them.
Okay.
But then you can get a selection of them.
Okay. So I'll be giving away to 4 people 1 can each of Cola. So that you watching out there, all you need to just do is head on the spot and let us know why you should be the person to get a can of Cola. And of course we'll be picking randomly, so 4 people will get the opportunity to try the very own Sierra Leone sauced Cola. So head on to our Facebook page. But this is where we end the conversation. Thank you so much, Simon. Thank you
Stella.
so much, Albert. It's great having you. It's great when we have Sierra Leoneans who really are genuinely interested and do love Sierra Leone. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of people who, when they leave home, they forget home. But that's not been the case with you. So good luck to what you're doing. And we really and genuinely, from myself and the team of On The Spot, really wish Cola the very, very best. This is where we end this segment of On The Spot. There's more to come, so stay tuned. We'll be back. Well, if you're just tuning in, this is On The Spot with me, Stella Bangura. Welcome. Now, 16% of the global population lack access to electricity, with more than 95% of that figure living in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. Now, that makes it 60% of the population in Africa lacking access to electricity. In Sierra Leone, only 13% of the population have access to electricity, and this number further drops to 1% in the rural areas, thus forcing people to rely upon toxic and expensive kerosene lanterns as their primary source of light. Having access to safe, clean, and affordable energy can help break the cycle of poverty. And this is what my next guest, through her organization, is working to achieve in Sierra Leone.
Where person buy them products they are waiting and go for do, where the sun come out and they go put this product directly under the sun. The sun now they charge the panel. The energy from the sun they store on this panel, where you can now host even term for can turn your light on.
My name is Mariama Kamara. I'm the founder and director of Smiling Through Light.
Welcome to On the Spot, Mariama.
Oh, thank you so much, Stella, for having us.
And it's good to have you on the spot once again.
Thank you.
All right, so Mariama, Smiling Through Light. And clearly I can see this is an initiative that is working with what I'd say renewable energy.
Yes.
Solar energy.
Solar.
How did that come about?
Okay. So thank you once again, and it's so great to have you here in the UK, in London. Normally we'll see you in Sierra Leone,
I know.
so welcome.
Thank you.
So Smiling Through Light is a company which focuses on clean energy access. So we work with a network of women, local women in Sierra Leone, to provide clean, reliable and sustainable energy through the sales of solar products, so products that you're seeing here right now. So our unique standout points for us is that definitely clean energy access, local women, gender equality, women's empowerment, and job creation and income opportunities. It's something that's really, really key for us. So everything started years back now. So I was born in Sierra Leone, and at the age of 9, I left because of the Civil War and moved to London to join my parents. So I finished schooling here, but I've always been so attached to Sierra Leone because it was a place growing up. I never thought I'd move to the UK or the US. I had, very good upbringing there, attending a very good school. So it was just so special to me. I was just a happy child growing there. And then obviously with the war, having to move. So fast forward, I completed all my schooling here. And when the war finished, since 2004, I've been going back and forth to Sierra Leone. Right. So I would either go for Easter or Christmas. And I actually wanted to really stay connected to the country as well, not to lose my own culture, to still understand what's happening. So I done my first degree in psychology with the aim of training to be a clinical psychologist and going back and opening a center where we can do counseling with war amputees or some of the women. I then ended up spending time working within the HIV sector and just more international development. But in 2008-9, DFID started a program called Diaspora Volunteering. So they really wanted people from the diaspora to go back and just give skills, work on a particular project. And this was hoping that your workplace would give you time off, kind of as professional development and for yourself.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to go to Ghana to do some work there, to Kenya. And then in 2011, a trip came up for Sierra Leone. It was quite simple. DFID wanted a sexual and reproductive health curriculum to be developed, working alongside UNICEF, and then converting the curriculum into role play, working with restless development. So we done the first piece, doing all the content, writing, and then the second half was really now traveling throughout the whole country. So normally when I'll go, I'll stay in Freetown, but this time I was really exposed. I went to Bo, Cambia, Kono, Port Loko, so many different places. And everywhere I went, I just saw people using kerosene lamp to light up their homes or candles. And I was really shocked because I was like, it's the 21st century. This is 2011. How can people still be using such dangerous fumes as a key source of lighting? So that's how the business actually started for me, going on a trip, seeing this problem, and then trying to find a solution to solve it.
Now, it started in 2011. 2011.
Yes.
You didn't open a branch in Sierra Leone until 2018.
Yeah.
Why did it take this long?
Excellent question. So my background, like I said, is in development. So so obviously working within the renewable energy sector, a lot of people come from either like a mechanical engineering background, and I was coming more from a development space, understanding more like the policy around it. So it took me a long time to learn, to research like who the key players were in the field, who is actually manufacturing this product, what kind of quality assurance are there, because we actually found out loads of products that were going into Sierra Leone were really bad products, products that were not actually good for the market, and a lot of consumers will buy products within like a month, they would have to get a new one. So I had to actually understand the sector, how it works, who is doing what regulations are there, and basically what support was there. So that was one, that kind of key learning and doing research. The second part was that in 2011 the Sierra Leonean government was really much more focused on like working on a grid, so working on Bumbuna or just much more bigger projects, so like hydro projects. So there was not really that political will to work on smaller products, and these products are really good for rural communities who really, like you said from the stats, in Sierra Leone only 13% of our population have access, and in rural communities less than 1%. So it took a lot of time lobbying, and in 2016 with the support from DFID, they then signed what's called the Energy Compact Agreement. So the previous government committed, they made 4 commitments to say by 2020 they wanted to light up 1 million homes through solar products. They removed duty and tax waivers on solar products coming into the country. Wonderful. So to really create that enabling environment, they set up something called the Renewable Energy Association of Sierra Leone, which is a membership association. So it was really a lot of work to do that. And then with all the work I've been doing, I was like self-funding everything for myself. So on my trip, we had pilot studies that we done. The first one was in 2014 in Krube, which I got PwC to sponsor us. We had the Ebola, so obviously I had to stop, but then use the time also just to campaign on the international level and just really just connecting with also the diaspora here, like Sierra Leoneans in the UK, who don't understand that we have this big issue, because we would all travel and if light goes off, people just put on their generator. So so that was like a lot of work, but luckily last year we won 2 grants. We won a grant from...
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit about the grants in a few. Okay. But we'll take a quick break. This is On The Spot, and I have with me Mariama Kamara, the founder and director for Smiling Through Light.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Stella.
Yep, I got that. We'll take a break. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. This is On The Spot special in UK, and I have a special guest, Mariama Kamara, who is the founder of Smiling Through Light organization, as you can see. So before we went on the break, you were just about to tell us about the grant that your organization have was able to get. I think it's a good move, because all this while you've been funding the organization yourself. So take us through on this grant and how big a grant it is.
I think one thing, because for me, Smiling Through Light, and one thing I always try to explain to people, that it could have easily been set up as a charity. So for us to purchase the solar products, just go to communities and just distribute them. But I really think as Sierra Leoneans, our ideas now have to either be going towards business or kind of creating social enterprises where you have the profit element, but then you have so much social impact. And for me, that was a key thing. Like, how do we create jobs? Because ultimately that's what gets people out of poverty. And I think for a long time we've very much lived on this kind of self-dependency, because there's so many NGOs in Sierra Leone that work, and we need to actually be thinking about how we sustain ourselves. And it's through either private business, companies, or social enterprises, where you can have a mixture of business and social impact. So it took a lot, and even the grant we won took loads of lobbying before. So it's a grant which is funded by DFID and Comic Relief under a program called the Diaspora Finance Initiative. So The Diaspora Finance Initiative supports businesses in Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Zimbabwe and Rwanda, so 4 key countries. So we were able to win that, and then we won another small grant from UN Women in Sierra Leone to work in Tombo. So that actually helped us to kickstart all our operations
in Sierra Leone,
over the last year to what we currently have now.
Care to share like how much the value of the grant that you got?
So the different grant, this Diaspora Finance, it was 30,000. And then you have to match fund it, so you have to put 20% of it. So that's a key criteria, because now even the funding kind of environment is also changing, because a lot of the donors want to see, okay, you're setting up a business, how committed are you, and how are you going to invest in that? So in total it was about 37,500.
So what then, because this is a social enterprise, and you know what your organization believe is electricity, access to electricity can actually help reduce poverty. So what's your strategy? What's the business model for your organization to pull people out of poverty?
So our business model is quite simple. So we purchase, there's something called the Lightning Global Program, which is a World Bank IFC. So it lists all the qualified, quality assured manufacturers that's actually gone through a testing stage. And the good thing now is that with funders and also the government of Sierra Leone, for you to bring solar products into the country, they have to be verified and registered on this site. So the model's simple for us. We purchase solar products from different manufacturers, very good manufacturers as well. And then we have a team in Sierra Leone who basically does all the training. Our head office is on Lumley Beach Road. They implement and they plan. We train local women, female agents, so which is a key USP for Smiling Through Light, because all our sales agents are women. We train them and they go out and sell the products, and then the benefits actually just ripple down to community members. So we're doing the job creation on that aspect. So as we speak to date, we have a team of 12 fully paid staff. We contribute to their pensions, we contribute to tax, and also obviously supporting the economy through that. And then on the other side, community members obviously are benefiting, because one, instead of them using kerosene, we're moving them away from that to be using better products. We do work with students who are using such products, so it's increasing and helping with their education, where before, if the light goes off, they probably won't have time to study, and now they can study for longer. Market women, traders who buy our products, they can sell for longer, which obviously increases their own profits as well and helps. And just more like the health benefits. When I was in Sierra Leone doing like all our pilot or the research stage, I used to meet people who, first of all, just inhaling, like a typical household in Sierra Leone has between 8 to 9 people, and imagine you'd have like pad lamp, this pad lamp there, and so inhaling all the fumes. We met people like when they blow their nose, it's thick black snot, and now we're moving away from that because these products are quite easy. We have free sun in Sierra Leone, like the sun is there.
So how you? I know you're based in Freetown, but how extensive or how wide is the reach of your organization? In what communities or what sort of women are you working with?
So for now, our like 3 to 5 year strategy is to focus on the north. So we've done a lot of work over the last couple of years through the last census that was done in Sierra Leone to pull out information of the north. So we know in the north there's currently 2.5 million people there, and we want to hit a market share of about 20% of that through direct sales, door to door, really working and training the agents to do that. So we currently have hubs that we've set up. So as I said, the head office is in Freetown. That's got 3 staff that work there. Our first shop hub was set up in Lonsal, and we have a team of 5 there, and there you now start seeing the agents building out. So we have an area sales manager there, and then 3 female sales agents.
So you're starting in the north. Is it because of the size, or why the north?
Size, the need. So a lot of for us, it's where the need is much more. Another area we're working in where we have our team now, a team of 3, and a shop is in Kamakaway. And I've personally visited all these areas. I've been to Kamakue. Our last trip, by 8 o'clock, you're in complete darkness. So there's really remote areas, really remote communities where they just don't have access, and it actually has an effect on their own living and how they live, because you think once the sun goes down, most people are going back inside till like the next day. So for us, it's how we try and support that, and obviously making sure they have the clean access.
All right. Well, continue to stay with me, Mariama. We'll take a quick break. This is On the Spot, and she is the founder and director for Smiling Through Light organization, an organization that is hoping to provide renewable energy to rural communities, basically as much as possible.
Yes,
to the
if
whole
we get the support
of Sierra
Leone. Yes, exactly.
We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Domestic revenue mobilization is a key instrument for the government of Sierra Leone in reducing poverty, increasing financial independence, achieving middle income status, and charting the path for new directions. From supporting the free quality education, good roads, healthcare, electricity, and more.
Domestic revenue mobilization is very critical when it comes to national development.
Through the Asikoda World, we have developed beautiful management tools. We have also developed systems in which it will bring transparency and help to the importer, to the broker.
iTax is a platform for all your domestic taxes. The electronic cash register system is the game changer.
Let's support government by paying our taxes. For more information, visit the nearest NRA office or log on to our website www.nra.gov.sl.
All right, welcome back. This is On the Spot, and if you are just tuning in, well, you're a little bit too late, but in the nick of time to catch my guest, Mariama Kamara, the director and founder of Smiling Through Light Foundation. You're in the nick of time to catch her, showing us some 3 powerful things that, should say has really brought her this far. So Mariama, with all your experience, with all the people you've worked with the work you're doing right now, what would you say are the 3 guiding principles that have kept you through or brought you this far?
That's really great. I think for one, really having a clear vision. And people get what Smiling Through Light is about. It's not a really difficult concept. It's quite simple. The communities that we work with, we use storytelling to communicate with them, so they really get it. It's a simple thing. People are using kerosene. We want to move them away from that to using cleaner, renewable energy products, such as solar product. So I think that's really number one, having a really clear vision, to know exactly where you're going is one. Also being focused on the vision is quite important, because it's quite a lonely journey. Like, I've stopped working to focus on the business and to grow it. There's times I don't even have a pound. So you really have to have that inner strength to take a jump to work on a business. And people normally don't understand that. They see the glamour, they see you coming on like a show like this, they see you, I don't know, on TV, but behind the scenes, it's a lot of lonely nights, a lot of crying, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of, am I doing the right thing? So I'd advise whoever wants to take that type of step to be ready to know that it's a very difficult journey, and most of all, just have fun with it, because people really nowadays set up a business, an association or organization because they've either seen a problem that they actually want to solve, and you have to enjoy it. You have to be really passionate about it. And I think for us, like you said, since 2011 to now, where it's taken so long, it's now we're actually starting to enjoy and doing exactly what we wanted to do. It's the passions that's actually driven me. When I look at pictures of some of the works that we've done, either with school children through our One Child, One Lamp campaign, and just seeing a child with a light and the smile it brings on their face, like something like that motivates me to actually carry on and to push through. And ultimately, you can't give up on the dream. It would take time, but eventually, I think, like I said at the start, having that clear vision, your focus actually needs to be on the bigger picture of where you would be ultimately in year 2 or year 3, not at the starting. The starting is where the hard work is, and actually pushing and working hard. Then you start enjoying it as you build your team. You bring like really good support network, you know, having a key advisory board, experts who can support you. Because I also think people is to move away from this thing like we can't be perfect or good at everything, and that's fact.
That's true.
So accepting that, and then knowing that there are other people who are good at these things that you're not doing. So
collaboration.
I'm collaborating with them and bringing them in. But yeah, don't give up. Enjoy it. Cry if you need to, because it's lonely, it's hard. But you just, you know, just focus, push, and we're all working towards a better Sierra Leone. Like most of the people you've been interviewing, they're like from the diaspora, and they've gone back to set up businesses. So we have a vested interest in the country, and we actually want to support that. It's also like for Sierra Leonean people also on the ground to support and push a lot of the work that we're doing.
Right. So for a number of people who are watching right now, and of course purchasing any of this products is directly supporting the communities, the women and the people involved, how can they get this product? You know, be it in the UK, be it in Sierra Leone, or even anywhere, how can people get access to your product?
So in the UK, it's more like where we plan, strategize, fundraise as well. And we're actually on that role now. So we want to get some grants, but more because it's a business, we want to move more into like getting angel investors involved to have the business really scalable. So our head office is on Lumley Beach Road, number 2 Lumley Beach Road, so just opposite SOS, so people can get the products from there. We have a shop obviously in Lonsar, people can get it from there. The shop in Kamakwe, they can also get from there. And in the UK, people can get in contact with me, but the key focus for us is people in Sierra Leone that don't have like access to electricity or light there, and for them to use.
Well, I can add, they can buy it and gift it to anyone in Sierra Leone.
That's
or
true.
Buy on behalf of someone in Sierra Leone.
Yes.
You never know.
So if that, they can actually contact me on Facebook. We have our company page, Smiling Through Light. We're also on Twitter at Smiling MK. We're on Instagram at Smiling Through Light. So we also have our website, www.smilingthroughlight.org. So it's very easy. Smiling Through Light, you Google it, like it would come up, and people can easily get in contact with me.
Yeah,
and I can direct them.
We'll definitely put all the social media handles so the people know how to reach you or Smiling Through Light. But we say thank you so much, Mariama. It's an amazing work you're doing.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best, and we can't wait to see the whole of Sierra Leone lit with Smiling Through Light, solar, you know, panels and lights and everything.
Exactly. That's
great
what we want to do.
initiative, great work, and once again, we wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us here on The Spot.
Yes. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, coming up, my final words. In my final words, businesses that will survive in today's world are businesses with great empathy, are human-centered, and it's not just solely driven by the desire to make profits, but also genuinely make a change in the society and the world at large. A company that connects with its environment and its people and contributes to sustainability and ethical supply chains are more likely to attract loyal customers and public trust. So be it a social enterprise or a for-profit organization, endeavor to be guided by these principles. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of On the Spot Special in the UK. I hope you found the conversation quite heartwarming, and remember that you can be the change that you hope and want to see, no matter how little, no matter how big. Keep it on the spot. We'll be back again next week. But till then, stay fabulous. Reach out on our various social media. Let's connect. Again, take care.